Let's start the music over. What's going on, guys? Ted from Immersion here, and welcome back to It Builds Character, a show I do on this channel pretty much every Wednesday, where I take a character from pop culture, and I do my best to replicate that character in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I use a specific set of parameters, which are as follows: a level 12 character. I build them using standard array stats. I try to use only published material, and by that I do consider Unearthed Arcana to be published, as it's unofficial, but I do use it. And I try to keep the homebrewing to a minimum, with the exception of magic items, as that's something I feel comfortable homebrewing pretty easily, and I think it works out pretty well. So that being said, that's out of the way now. Let's get our... Oh. Sorry, Endless. I'm glad you're here now, though. I just want to get our couple things out of the way up front here, right? And that is Initiative Coffee Company is one of our sponsors. That's what I'm drinking right here, right now. You can use our coupon code there to get $2 off of your order. And Elderwood Academy is our other sponsor, who makes awesome gaming products, which I don't happen to have one in arm's reach, which I should remember to do that. But anyway, if you use that referral link, we get a percentage of the sales if you're going to pick up anything from Elderwood. Their products are awesome, they stand the test of time, and I really love those guys a lot. So if you do that, I would appreciate it. A couple other little quick things. One, yesterday was the start of Evil Month, so this entire month on Tuesday night here on the stream, where we normally play Everend, my homebrew campaign, where I'm in the DM's chair, we're going to be playing Evil Game all month long, which is typically just once a month. Jake's going to be running the campaign every Tuesday this month, so you get a whole month of our Evil characters. Last night's was pretty crazy, so it should be a good time. And lastly, we are 75 followers away here on Twitch from Celine Game. Celine will be running her first ever online streamed campaign on Tuesday night once we hit 3,000 followers here on Twitch. Oh, and lastly, if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel lately, I would recommend you do so. I've been putting out a whole bunch of content in a lot of what I think is really good content, some of the best stuff I've put out. I think there is still some work to be done to make things a little flashier and a little more consistent, and I have ideas on how to do that. But everybody seems to be flocking to the content, a lot of opinion-based stuff, top 10 lists, my new series where I'm trying to fix 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. And when I say fix, it's not like it's broken, but there are some classes and things I think that could use a little help. And that is, it's my attempt to do so. Alright, that being said, let's jump in to what we're doing tonight, which is It Builds Character. So, if you've been following closely, you'll notice that originally was slotted for this was Elder God Demonbane, and I've refused to build gods. I've decided that's my call. If a character is essentially god tier power level or higher, in a lot of cases, there's just no way to replicate those. That would be like telling me to sit down and build Superman. I'm not going to build Superman, because Superman is unbuildable as a character in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. You could probably have built Superman in 3.5 if you went down some really squirrely rabbit holes with a level 20 character and 8 billion feats. Not saying you could, you probably still couldn't get to that level, but you get my point. 5th edition is more balanced in that it's not going to be possible. So, we're skipping that one entirely, and we're going to Kirito from Sword Art Online, which is an anime that I am familiar with, and I did watch. So basically, how we're going to build him is, we're going to cover basically like the whole first season of Sword Art Online. Basically, the entire arc that takes place in the first game that he's trapped in before they go... before they go into the elf one, Elfheim, or whatever it is, the elf themed version of the same exact game with more or less the same storyline, which was kind of dumb in my opinion, which is why I stopped watching. So that first series, though, when everybody's stuck in it, and when he wakes, they win, so he wakes up and leaves. Is that So that whole series is the one we're going to focus on because I'll also say this up front, guys. I don't think this is going to be a super complex character build. He's basically a dual-wielding fighter. That's like his whole thing. Now, I know you can argue, and I'm more than willing to entertain the idea. He does have other abilities, right? We do know he could do other things. And I will also say, if you're new to a live It Builds character, the way it works is, I start building a character, but I heavily am influenced by your guys' chat. Here, your guys' comments here in the chat. So if you think of something that you think is a better build, or something I shouldn't do this, but I should do that, something along those lines, please let me know, and we will make some alterations as we go. So again, a real quick synopsis of Sword Art Online for people who don't know, which I'm sure if you clicked on this video, you do. But basically, people are playing an alternate, a virtual reality MMORPG, and basically what happens is everyone who logs in and plays it gets trapped in the game. They can't escape. If they try to disconnect from the helmets or anything out in the real world, they basically die. And if you die in the game, you die for real. So the only way you're supposed to be able to ever actually get out and leave the game is if someone beats it, basically. Someone has to beat the game, and then everybody can leave. There's a big dungeon, a whole big thing, and it's going through the process of people learning 100 floors, right? It's a 100-floor dungeon, you gotta beat all 100 floors, then you win, and then everybody can leave. And it was a pretty interesting, I'd seen other things like this, right? You die in the video game, you die for real, like that's been around for a while. But I thought this was a pretty interesting scenario, right? Because there are people, you don't know what they look like originally. They look like their characters, then they look like them. And, it was interesting to see people were making Suicide Pact. Then you've got the people who are doing, like, player versus player stuff, where they're killing other characters in the game. So you basically, even though it's a game, you're essentially murdering people by killing their characters in game. It was a pretty good story, I thought. And more or less, the character that we're building tonight, he is the OG nerd who started in the beta. People thought he was a cheater. Laughing Coffin, thank you. Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched it. Essentially, he was, I called him a beater, if I recall that correctly, which is the beta cheater. And he was just like the kid that everybody knows somebody like this, who plays some video game, whether it be an MMO or whatever, and they're either just too good at it, or they just spend so much time in it, and that's who he was kind of in general. And then obviously, when your literally only thing you can do is live and play the game, it was literally his life. So he became the ultimate high tier, as best you can get within the game. And, that's pretty much that. So, how do we build his character? So, he wielded, for most of the anime, one sword. And then eventually, he unlocked a dual-wielding ability. But that's sort of, I feel like, what defines his character. And a lot of people, associate him with his two swords. So... I'm actually looking at a stat block, basically, of his abilities right here. What he can do. So we've got, from that arc anyway, his skill slots are in one-handed sword, dual blades, martial arts, blade throwing, parry, searching, hiding, sprint, extended weight limit, fishing, first aid, and battle healing is what's coming up here on my, on my little screen here. And then obviously the main thing he had a lot of was sword techniques, right? Different cool moves you could do with a sword, different moves you could do with 2 swords. But again, like I said, as far as building him as a 5th edition character, we're going to be a dual-wielding character, and I think we're going to be a dual-wielding fighter. It's just what kind of fighter are we? So my thoughts are, if you look at his power level and what he can do, he can do a lot of unique abilities like sundering of weapons and disarming of people. So you could say Battle Master Fighter, and that's actually where my gut is pulling me towards. It would be a Battle Master Fighter. I feel like I build a lot of Battle Master Fighters, so I don't necessarily want to do that. But I don't know. I'm willing to take suggestions. He doesn't really have magic per se, so I think what we'll probably end up spending a lot of time doing in here is likely building the magic items that he uses, or finding them on D&D Beyond and going from there. But let us jump over here. So here we are. Let's get this out of the way. Here we are on D&D Beyond. For those of you who don't know, you like to build the characters in D&D Beyond, because I quickly export the character sheet for you guys to download a copy of it for yourself. It also takes a lot of the math and everything away from me, so that's always fun. So here's the thing. I would argue he's a dex-focused fighter. Yep, thank you. I agree completely. Endless. He is a dex-based fighter. He is not a strength-based character. He's got a high dex, which unfortunately hamstrings. Normally, we're going to obviously deal with that with magic items, but like normally that hamstrings your ability to use cool swords, because you'd either be stuck using short swords or rapiers. We're going to fix that, but what's the feat going to be that we're going to take at level 1 for being a variant human? We're going to take dual wielder. I know he doesn't technically get that at level 1, but we're just going to get that out of the way. You know what? Actually, no. I lied. We're going to take prodigy. And he's a prodigy in Sword Art Online, in the world of that. So we're going to give him perception, because he had good skills in that. Oh, wait. We're going to give him here, we'll go with stealth, because he's good at hiding. We'll give him perception. Let's see. Language we're not worried about. Perception, we'll give him expertise in. They don't have like fishing tools, which is a thing he could do. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about like magic items in that like crazy magic items, but like I think like Dark Repulsor would be a magic sword, right? It's not like magic in the terms of like an MMO, but in the terms of Dungeons and Dragons, like Elucidator and Dark, and like he has the coat. It's like he gets that I think from the first boss fight. What's this, like the Black Worm coat or something like that? So like that would be a Dungeons and Dragons magic item anyway. So we're gonna give him I guess like the herbalism kit to work as like, because he does have like first aid abilities. So I think we're all under the impression that he is a fighter. So we're going to add the fighter class. We're going to give him 12 levels of fighter. We're going to come back to what he has, and let's build out his abilities first. Oh, we didn't choose his 2 ability scores. So we're going to give him Dex, and I think we're going to give him Con. We're going to go here, and we're going to go with Standard Array. Going to boost his Dex all the way up, and his Con as well. Let's do Con as 13. Do his Wisdom as 14. I could see Rogue as well. Remember he's just fighters that he could be a rogue given a range of skills. Yeah, so I mean we gave him Prodigy as a feat, so that helps a little bit. We're gonna do the background first, And then, unfortunately, I don't think, like, child or student is an option for us. So we're going to have to choose something different for his background. So let's see. My gut wants me to say, like, acolyte, but... Ooh, folk hero is interesting. Yeah, I was gonna say, because charisma should be pretty high. I don't disagree. Everybody wanted to bang him, but you gotta consider the source. Yeah, you know what? I'm okay with folk hero as the background. Alright. So let's go to class. So he's going to get 2 proficiencies. We're going to give him acrobatics, obviously, because he does all the flippies. And here we've got history, athletics, insight, and intimidation. I think I still kind of want to give him athletics, even though, like, you know, he's not necessarily the strongest, but, well, we got to go here and give 2 weapon fighting. Okay. So here we are at our martial archetype. We could go with history if you want for the knowledge of the game. I thought about that myself, so I'm okay with that. So here are our options. Obviously, you have to ignore Bone Knight and Templar, as those are homebrews. So he's not an Arcane Archer. He's not a Cavalier or an Eldritch Knight. Purple Dragon Knight, no one should ever play it because it's the worst fighter subtype in existence. Don't worry, that's on my fix-it list, believe me. Samurai, you could argue Samurai. There's nothing saying that a Samurai fighter can't use the dual-wielding weapons. There's nothing, like, you could do that. There's no definitely, you know, possibility. Oh, hang on. I got some messages on Twitter. Let's see about Kirito. Here we go. His charisma is bumped to a 6 when he's around female characters. All female characters must make a wisdom or charisma saving throw at disadvantage, or they will fall in love with him. Yep, there's a lot of that going around on the internet. Everybody agrees. Yeah, so I think we're down to Samurai or Battlemaster Fighter. My gut is I do want to go with Battlemaster Fighter just because of the different techniques are more fitting. Because he does do a lot of stuff. Like, he can do a lot of cool, interesting sword techniques with the weapons. Trey Dog, officially titled as a Sword Art Online junkie, admits that in the chat. Therefore, I'm going to go with Battlemaster Fighter. He is all sorts of skilled up, apparently. He has cooking, but it's not as good as, I think, Asana's cooking, so... Alright, let's choose some maneuvers. Okay. We're gonna go with parry. We know he's very good at parrying. We're gonna go with a trip attack. A repose... Oh, well, that was a sweeping attack, but... We're going to go with riposte. Let's see, we've got disarming strike. Precision attack. Let's see. Evasive footwork makes some sense. And fainting attack. Yep. So those are some pretty good archetypes there. We're gonna go here. We gotta boost that dex into as high as we can go, because he's the best at everything. Dex goes up. That puts us at 18. Alright, and then here we'll boost our dex again. So it's just gonna put us at 20 dexterity at level 6. That's going to give us 2 more ability score improvements or feats between where we are and where we end. So let's just double check that right here. 20. So currently we're at 8, 20, 14, 12, 14, 10. I can switch his charisma and his wisdom if we think that he is more pretty than he is wise, which I'm fine with doing that if that's what you guys think we should do. So let's go ahead and look at some feat options for him. We could choose skilled. That was brought up as an option. Charisma is greater than wisdom. Okay. There we go. It doesn't, because I mean, wisdom, you know, I'm okay with it. He learns on the fly a lot. Let's see. We could go with skilled, and I would be okay with that. We could argue lucky. Actually, I think I'm gonna go with. I kind of thinking the mobile feat. I think that works pretty well for him, increasing his movement speed, dashing, doesn't no issues with difficult terrain, and when he makes an attack, he can move away without provoking attacks of opportunity. I think that fits pretty well. Let's see. Again, he made it through alive, so you could argue that he's lucky. Or tough could be another one. Just like flat out boosted hit points. Not necessarily. I mean, I could see that as an option, and I would not disagree with that. What do you guys think? I'm basically down to skilled or tough, I think. So tough would be just an extra 24 hit points, and skilled would be proficiency in 3 skills. Let me know what you guys think. And we will keep moving on, won't we? Tough. Tough gets it. It's the first response. Alright. So, I'm gonna stop there because we're gonna build the equipment. So, okay. So this is what we're looking at stat-wise, right? 8, 20, 14, 12, 10, 14. We have a decent spread of ability skills. We've got our features and traits right here. We've got 2-weapon fighting. We have the dual wielder feat. We've got action surge. We've got second wind, some healing. We've got 5d10 superiority dice. I think there's even like a thing you can study your enemy, and I think that was even like an ability that he had where he could like sense people's I think it was their hostility, but like he could sense things about people, and like that kind of fits with the know your enemy ability here. Indomitable to reroll saving throws. He's got some extra movement speed. I think this is pretty well done, honestly, thus far. If I did human out of game Kirito, that would have been commoner stats. Maybe boosted dexterity for hand-eye coordination. Alright, so now we need to build his magical equipment, which I think we're basically going to focus on 3 pieces. That's going to be the black coat that he wears, and the 2 swords, right? Dark Repulsor, Elucidator. Those are the ones we want to do. So, as we've said before, it's always fun and interesting if we try to browse the homebrew magic items that other people have already made and see how they think these should be done. And I feel like these may be items that people have tried to make. And if so, let's see what we think about it. How did I know that this would have already been created? So let's see. This is the most popular one here. When you hit a magic, maximize your weapon dice. When you hit a creature, roll a 20. Oh boy. That's why it takes an extra 40-10 slashing damage. In addition, you can speak the swords to cause it to ready to shine bright light. Roll 2d20 if Dark Repulsor and... Oh my god. Alright. Let's keep searching. That one's a little crazy. Is this the same person wrote the thing twice? Same person? Oh, oh, look, one by Dark Swordsman. Yeah, go figure, right? But what's interesting is Dark Swordsman and CW Razor both basically made the same item. But down here. Long black sword with magical properties. Thank you. That helps us a lot. Pitch black sword with trims of gray. Attached to its elongated area of the handguard. Thank you again for 0 information on what this thing does mechanically. Okay, this one's interesting. This one's saying you need to have a strength of 17, dexterity of 15, and level 5 or higher. Plus 3 damage, increases the chance of getting a critical hit. You now crit on a 19 to 20, deals magical damage. I'm not really sure that I like any of these. It was worth looking, because you never know what you're going to find. So let's try Dark Repulsor and see what we get for that. I'm sure we're going to get some interesting stuff as well. Oh, wait, only one. Same person who did the last one that was attunement. It's not that crazy what they wrote here. So, alright, what was the... Okay. So we have some free range on some of this stuff here. Let's look up exactly what we've got here on each of these. Okay. So I think we know what we're gonna do for Elucidator, I think. I have some theory. A Dark Repulsor. That was sort of rapier-ish, actually, that particular one. But, let's see. Yeah, I don't really have anything specific about it that I... Alright. Let's see. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back to our Kirito build. Oops, that was too far. Alright. So, I think based on what Elucidator's done, he did switch to, like, Excalibur, but I think that was in the second series. I thought. I recall. So we're gonna take a Sword of Sharpness. Oh, what is it? It's gonna be... So if you look at a long Sword of Sharpness here, this is if you hit with an object, you do maximum damage to the object. If you hit a 20, you deal extra damage. If you roll a second 20, you remove a limb. That's what a lot of those people had the original one there. They just increased it to 40-10. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. Is a long Sword of Sharpness. Now let's see, can we customize? No. Okay. So we may have to go make a custom magic item for this here. So let's go do that real quick. So I think what we're gonna do is go long sword of sharpness. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the long sword of sharpness, but we're going to make it use dexterity instead of strength. So, damage slashing modifier here. And we're going to say... Let's see. What's damage type? This is why, no, we don't want that. Can we do it back here? I forget. Long sword. Oh, why don't we just do this and change it to a rapier? No, I want it to be a longsword that uses dexterity. So that's gonna be in here. We just gotta figure out, let's see. Set. Nope. Give me 1 sec, guys. I gotta remember how to do this. Let's see. Let's see. Proficiency, set, vulnerability, resistance. Weapon property. Ah, there we go. We'll add finesse. That's what we wanted. And we'll just call this. Okay. Save. We'll go back over here. We'll refresh him. And then we go to equipment. Remove that. There we go. Equip it. Attuned. Now we've got our nice finesse-based longsword in Elucidator. And I'm not really sure what kind of crazy abilities Darker Pulsar actually had. I just knew it was a nice sword, and it was kind of like, it was very like strong, and he needed a special ingot to create it. But I don't remember it doing, like, he really only, in the beginning there, or in that first quest, he really only used it, I think, once. Let's see. So, let's go build the coat. The black worm coat. So, create magic item. We're going to go with create from scratch. This is going to be the black worm. Spell worm correctly? Yeah, coat. I don't know. We don't. It's going to be armor. Base armor is going to be studded leather. Okay. Kirito coat. Okay. And what is it going to give us? It is. We're going to create this. Oh. Wait. Okay. What? We chose armor. Oh. Oh, rare. Okay, and the modifier, it's gonna give us expertise in hiding, because I think it actually gave him a boost to his hiding skill, so we're gonna go with expertise in stealth. And I think we're gonna give it like a regular bonus to wait, is there a, let's see, armor class? I think we just do it here, bonus armor class. Oh, we don't want to do that. We want to do fixed value, so we're gonna make it +2 armor. We'll go back here to equipment. We'll refresh. And then that, well, we gotta still do, we'll go with, there's the coat, the coat. And then we'll have to make, I think we're just gonna take like a +2 rapier. What do we got? Go with a +2 rapier. And we're gonna go here and we're gonna rename this one. I think that may do it for us. Yeah, it was hiding in some protection, so that's why I made it a +2 suit of studded leather armor that gives expertise in stealth check. So that should cover that. And we have Elucidator and a Dark Repulsor now. There is a +1 vicious weapon. There is. And I think that might do it for us for our It Builds character for tonight. I mean, there wasn't much more in the way of like gear that he had that was crazy. Nothing that really jumps out to me as I'm looking through, all the different abilities and things he had. Those are kind of the main ones, right? So I think that's it. We already went through his ability scores and his stats and everything. He's good at spotting people. He's good at hiding. He's got a lot of maneuvers, so he can do different interesting things in combat. He's a little tougher than your average person. He's got 3 different attacks. He can do a bonus action offhand attack that gets all the bonuses for it. I don't know if this is counting. This is not. So he actually has a +1 to his AC if he's dual wielding. So his AC is typically 20 because when he has 2 swords out. I think that's pretty much it. I don't remember. There may have been magic rings, but I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. So I think that's like the main loot, the main gear that he has. So I think I'm going to just call that it for Kirito for tonight. Let's start the music over. So yeah, basically what I'll do is I will export a version of the sheet and drop it into a folder. I have to go in and do that for the past couple weeks. I have not. If you're unfamiliar, I'll put a link in the chat here. If you guys want to see what the plan is, so we can see what we're going to do next week. Next week, that's season 1. Next week is the Strider class from Dragon's Dogma. That one I don't really know much about, so I'm going to have to do some research on that one. And then we're going to be doing Ben 10 the week after that. That should be funky and weird. But if you look, we're already booked out through April of next year. I do have some suggestions that came through relatively recently that I need to add to this. So there should be some stuff to add here. So that should be fun. I'm excited to build some more characters with you guys. It's always interesting to see people's comments about how they think characters should be built differently. And that's why I invite everybody to come hang out in the chat live when I do these things, because if you're not here to help alter the way the character is built, then I can't help you. I mean, if you comment on the YouTube, that's great. I appreciate seeing you're there and getting your feedback on what you would change about the character. But if the feedback's not live, I can't incorporate it into the build. We talk about this every week, but I will be doing some other stuff in the future. Like once the new Eberron book comes out, I'll be revisiting my Iron Man build from way back in... God, when was this? Way back in Season 1. I think that was basically the 7th episode. I'll be revisiting Iron Man to rebuild him with the new Artificer rules. And then we'll do a Civil War Iron Man versus Captain America Redux. And then eventually we'll do Cloud versus Sephiroth and a Smash Brothers one with all Smash Brothers characters. And then I may do a one-shot where characters find themselves in a scenario where they have to be one of these characters. And they get to basically pick from the list. Should be an interesting time. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me, guys. As it stands right now, I don't know if there's going to be a Mistress of Modules this coming Sunday. But stay tuned to the YouTube channel. A lot more good content coming out. Thank you, Trey Dog, for bringing it up. What I will do is, if you see, I put the thing right here in the chat. I'll put it in there again. If you see that IBC Sheets link, that will take you to a Google Drive folder where it has... What am I up to? What did I put in here? So I stopped at 37. I got to put in the ones after that. But basically, this way you can go in and click and open up any of the character sheets that I've done in the past. So when we sign off here, I will basically export this character sheet to a PDF and drop it in this folder, and you can go pick it up for yourself and then use it as you will in your own game. So I actually have a few to drop in here that I haven't gotten around to, so we'll have to go ahead and do that. Well, hey, listen, the way we built him is very easy to obtain the abilities of this character. If you roll for stats or do point buy, you could probably even be better off and have more options for feats than we did, because we build them as pretty much as standard as we can. If you roll and you roll higher than the standard array stats allow, you can be a more powerful Kirito earlier on than we could. No, that's awesome. First ever campaign at 44 years old. That's fantastic. Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons. We're glad to have you. Yes, okay, Ash. So yes, no DM's probably going to give you those magic items at the start, but they're items that you could choose to try and work towards, which is actually a topic of a future video of mine, which we'll talk about players wanting to find items in game and how you deal with it. Oh, here's Yusuke. I got Yusuke here. We'll throw him in here. I gotta go back and get Mr. Wednesday and the other ones. Throw them in there. Alright. Well, that's fantastic. I love Dungeons and Dragons. I love it bringing people together. On top of everything I just talked about, I did receive a massive box in the mail from WizKids. I have a whole bunch of unboxing videos and reviews coming out for a bunch of new the whole brick of Avernus minis to unbox. I have the Watchful Night mini as well, which is not a mini. The thing's like this big, so I have that. They also sent me some of their 4D like terrain settings, which is WizKids like non-campaign specific breakout into the terrain business. And this stuff is pretty nice, and I think I may be the first person to have some of these in hand, so that's pretty cool. And they also sent me a copy of 3 Dragon Ante as well, the new version of it, so we'll have to check that out. So that is all of that. Also, if you're like me, I'm going to jump off of this stream and say that I'm going to go record all those videos, but Smash version 5.0 just came out, and Banjo and Kazooie are available in the game. So I gotta go play Smash Bros. Ultimate with Banjo Kazooie and see how that goes. And yes, 75 followers until Celine game. Tell your friends, make fake accounts, and subscribe to the channel. I don't care. We all want to play Celine game, and Celine wants to run it. But we set our arbitrary goal. Hey, there we go. Thank you, Trey Dog. We want to play it. She wants to run it. But we set the goal that it's going to be at 3,000 followers here on Twitch. Don't worry, Descent into Avernus is right around the corner. I'll be doing a giveaway of that, and that'll jump the numbers up. But those are superficial numbers. We want people who hang out here in the chat who want to experience the game, whether it be character building or something else. Oh, my last little bit that I wanted to say before I jump off here is we finished our Rise of Tima campaign on Monday. Or not on Monday, but several Mondays back, and we don't have anything in place of it. And while I was looking to fill something in that slot, my good friend Greg from the Very Random Encounters podcast has a new RPG that he wrote the entire thing for. It's actually on Kickstarter now. It's called Glitter Hearts, which is basically a magical hero transformation RPG. So if you've ever wanted to be a magical girl, or try your hand at playing a game where you get to be one, that's the campaign, this whole RPG system that he wrote. And we're actually going to be playing, he's going to be running a campaign here on stream, a mini campaign on Mondays. I think for the month of September, he's going to run a mini campaign of me and a couple other friends through the game that he wrote to help promote it. So I think next Monday at 9 p.m. will be episode 1 of Glitter Hearts. So I'm going to see if I can pull that all together in the next couple days. Trey, man, don't worry about it. if you like, we all were new D&D players at some point, and it seems like, you know, obviously you're going to run into people in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, and in any, you know, kind of setting where people are going to, there are people who are kind of like, you know, the old grognards who, like, don't want new people to play it. But in my experience, 5th edition players are a lot more open, and a lot more accepting of new players, and want to just help people out. And honestly, you know, if you just talk to both the other players, and obviously it seems like you know the DM pretty well. But yeah, if you want to just talk to them, and you know, you should be able to have an open communication line. Make sure you get up to speed and feel good about it, and they're usually pretty willing to help you out. And if not, I have a D&D 101 series here on the YouTube that may provide some information or insight for what you have questions about. And if you do have questions about something specific, get me a message somehow, and I'll make a video about it to help address it. So, anyway, I love you all very much. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope to see you as a magical girl transforming into my alter ego on Monday night. We'll see if that happens, though. So, have a great night, everyone. I'll see you next time.